Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for TCSL's morning meditation on Sunday. So I want to invite you to wherever you are to unfold legs, take a deep breath, fully arrive in this moment now. This morning's meditation will be a prayer from the book of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I invite you now to close your outer eyes and really turn toward that very center of yourself, that divine spark within each and every one of us, and know while listening with our ears, allowing the words that you hear to flow through your heart and listening with your heart. Meditation is a prayer for self-love. Today, Creator of the universe within, we ask that you help us to accept ourselves just the way we are, without judgment. Help us to accept our mind the way it is, with all our emotions, our hopes and dreams, our personality, our unique way of being. Help us to accept our body just the way it is, with all its beauty and perfection. Let the love we have for ourselves be so strong that we never again reject ourselves or sabotage our happiness, freedom, and love. From this moment now, let every action, every reaction, every thought, every emotion be based on love. Help us, Creator, to increase our self-love until the entire dream of our life is transformed. From fear and drama to love and joy. Let the power of our self-love be strong enough to break all the lies we are programmed to believe, all the lies that tell us we are not good enough, or not strong enough, or intelligent enough that we cannot make it. Let the power of our self-love be so strong that we no longer need to live our life according to other people's opinions. Let us trust ourselves completely to make the choices we must make. With our self-love, we are no longer afraid to face any responsibility in our life or face any problems and resolve them as they arise. Whatever we want to accomplish, let it be done with the power of self-love. Starting now, help us to love ourselves so much that we never set up any circumstances that go against us. We can live our life being ourselves and not pretending to be someone else just to be accepted by other people. We no longer need other people to accept us or tell us how good we are because we know what we are. With the power of our self-love, let us enjoy what we see every time we look in the mirror. Let there be a big smile on our face that enhances our inner and outer beauty. Help us to feel such intense self-love that we are easily able to enjoy our own presence. Let us love ourselves without judgment, because when we judge, we carry blame and guilt. We have the need for punishment, and we lose the perspective of your love. Strengthen our will to forgive ourselves in this moment. Clean our minds of emotional poison and self-judgment so we can live in complete peace and love. Let our self-love be the power that changes the dream of our life. With the power of self-love in our hearts, let us transform every relationship we have, beginning with the relationship we have with ourselves. Help us to be free of any conflict with others. Let us be happy to share our time with our loved ones and to forgive them for any injustice we feel in our mind. Help us to love ourselves so much that we forgive anyone who has ever hurt us in our life, and to forgive ourselves for holding on to it. Give us the courage to love our family and friends unconditionally and to change our relationships in the most positive and loving way. Help us to create new channels of communication in our relationships so there's no war of control, no winner or loser. Together, let us work as a team for love, for joy, for harmony. Let our relationships with our family and friends be based on respect and joy so we no longer have the need to tell them how to think or how to be. Let our romantic relationship be the most wonderful relationship. Let us feel joy every time we share ourselves with our partner. Help us to accept others just the way they are, without judgment, because when we reject them, we are rejecting ourselves. When we reject ourselves, we reject you. Today is a new beginning. Let us open our heart to the love that is our birthright. Help us to become masters of gratitude, generosity, and love so that we can enjoy all of your creations forever and ever. Amen. Now, as we gently bring our attention back into our bodily form, knowing that this spark of divinity is within me, within you, within each and every being on the planet, as close as our own breath, yet it's easy to forget with all the commotion in our lives. So, the invitation for today and for our moments going forward is to find paths inward, to find a way to connect with that spirit that lives in us, as us, and through us. And to let that be the guide for our life, to allow spirit to be the filter through which all things pass, all circumstances, situations, grievances, allowing ourselves to be fully loving of ourselves and others. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you chiming in with your consciousness during this meditation, and we hope that you'll stay for our service at 10:15 this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. We are that maybe today should be about flexibility or about just deal with whatever comes our way. So I don't know if you can tell from the screenshot or not, but we're working a little bit differently at Desi's, Sophie's today. And so we're glad and very happy that you've joined us here or that you've invited us into your home. And to just know that while it might look a little bit different, it's the same awesome service with the same awesome community. So thank you very much for joining us. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer. I happen to have the honor and the privilege of being this community's spiritual director. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. We believe in one power and presence that is back of everything that there is, seen and unseen. And we believe that we were created in its image and likeness, that it is the very essence of peace, of joy, of creativity, of abundance, of wisdom, of freedom, and of grace. And since we were created in its image and likeness, all of those aspects of God are aspects of each and every single one of us. And one really important aspect is that because it is creative, having created everything on the planet, we too are creative. That our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs create the experiences of our lives. In the Bible, it says, "It is done as you believe." And so the really good news about that is that if you're not happy with the life that you are experiencing in the moment, that we have an opportunity to change that, change your thinking, change your life. And so we come together to celebrate that fact, to celebrate the truth of our oneness with the divine and our oneness with each other, and to support each other as we walk this spiritual path. So once again, thank you so very much for joining us today. Our flower dedication, these absolutely gorgeous flowers over here, since it's the first Sunday of the month, goes to all of those who are celebrating their birthday in July. We would love to be able to speak all of your names into the room. However, I don't want to leave one single name off of that list. So we're simply dedicating the flowers to all of the people who have their birthday in July. See if this sounds like you. People born in this month are highly optimistic. They know how to stay positive and how to make the best out of any situation. They know that things will be all right in the end, and therefore they never let any pessimistic thoughts rule their mind. You will feel an aura of positivity and calmness when you are with them. People born in this month are inquisitive and are always eager to learn new things. They love to expand their knowledge, and therefore you may find them asking numerous questions when you're with them. Their curiosity is something they cannot hide. One of the best qualities of a July-born person is that they are family-oriented. For them, family comes first. Controlled by the moon, these individuals love to take care of and nurture their family members. While family means the world to them, they also possess a strong sense of empathy towards others. They understand people's pain, and they try their best to assist others in need. They're kind and understanding, especially with those who are undergoing some serious issues. These individuals will support you mentally as well as emotionally, and they will always stand by your side. Though these people are quite friendly, they like to spend some time alone. You will find them enjoying their me time by reading a book, cooking their favorite food, gardening, or simply doing something that makes them feel better. If you've ever known someone who was born in this month, then you will agree that both at work and at home, they are well organized and are gifted with exceptional managerial skills, which make them good team leaders or managers. People born in July have an amazing sense of humor. They know how to make people laugh. They are charismatic, witty, fun-loving, cheerful, and kind, and are often surrounded by people who love them. So happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is in July. Now, tomorrow is the 4th of July, Independence Day. And it has been a federal holiday since 1941. But the tradition of Independence Day goes back to the 18th century and the American Revolution. On July 2nd, 1776, the Continental Congress voted in favor of our independence. And 2 days later, delegates from the 13 colonies adopted the Declaration of Independence, a historic document drafted by Thomas Jefferson. Now, from 1776 to the present day, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence. In his book, The Essential Ernest Holmes, in a chapter called The World Has Suffered Enough, Ernest Holmes gives a prayer for our country, which I believe is every bit as profound today as it was in 1950. And so I'm choosing to read that prayer to all of us today. If you'd like to, please close your outer eyes and allow it to just wash over you. He said, believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer, for my country. I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and the divine heritage of everyone in this country, that they are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that personal freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind contains the answer to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed by this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem. Each is impelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. And I add my prayer to his. Today, on the eve of Independence Day 2022, I claim freedom for all Americans, indeed all people everywhere. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt that we arrived on the planet free and that we remain free in spirit throughout our human experience. I know that it is our nature, the truth of who we are, each of us, with no exception. I know that who we all are is a divine emanation of the divine, different and yet equal, unique and yet unified by our oneness. Today, I proclaim freedom for all. And so it is. I would now love to thank the lovely Michelle Love for her beautiful prayer. And while she did not know it, it was absolutely perfect for today's talk, this prayer for self-love. And so thank you so very much, Michelle, for that. And while we're clapping, let's invite her back up to the podium. Michelle Love.
Thank you, Dusty. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our service this morning. The theme for the year 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. Our theme for the month of July is relationships. Reverend Dusty's talk title today is Me, Myself, and I. I am now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives into being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And so it is. So we're going to take just a few moments to turn within. I invite you to close your outer eyes once again and open your heart and mind to allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you, reaching down to your inner core where your divine spark exists.
I now invite you to bring your attention back into your bodies and back into the room. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome Maya Lisa and Brianna, who will be assisting us this morning. Thank you both. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere. Excuse me, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. Thank you both. I could ask you to turn within once again, closing your outer eyes as I speak a word of blessing on today's service, recognizing the one power, the one spirit back of all of creation. Knowing that presence as pure love, pure joy, infinite wisdom and intelligence. That perfection that is at the core of everything is the energy that we came from and the energy that allows us to have this human experience in these spiritual bodies. Knowing that energy as perfection, I know that is the truth of each of us, that we are whole, perfect, and complete as these individualizations of the one. I know that is the truth of me, as I know that is the truth of each person within the sound of my voice, that we are all loved, held, supported in every conceivable way by that one power. Speaking a word of blessing on this perfect service today. I know that Reverend Dusty comes forth, allowing Spirit to speak with her, through her, with her message today. I speak a word of blessing on Sandy as he comes forth with his gift of music to bless us and open our hearts. I speak a word of blessing on Michelle Love for her beautiful meditation and her service to this community. And I speak a word of blessing on our community, on each of our members, on each of the beautiful people that tune in to us each Sunday and each Wednesday and come to our social events, knowing that we are all on similar paths to recognize the oneness, the unity that is that golden thread that connects each of us. Blessing this community and this time together. Blessing Sophie's for giving us this place to gather in person. And blessing technology and the beautiful Ava that's working in AV today to bring us into each of your homes. So grateful for this time together. And so it is. Today's reading is from Dr. Ernest Holmes. He says, "Every evidence of human experience, all acts of kindness and mercy, have interpreted themselves through each person's self-knowing mind. All that we consciously know, say or think, feel or believe, hope or long for, fear or doubt, is some reaction of the self-knowing mind." And now, with that gift I mentioned, please welcome the awesome, the wonderful, the oh so creative Sandy Hemingway.
Thank you. When I saw that the talk topic was me, myself, and I called a meeting with me and myself, and we discussed our song options, and we settled on a song I wrote a few years ago. It's called "The Best in Me Is Yet to Come." I hear a voice inside me, always saying no. I fear the choice I'm making will never let me grow. A chance is dawning every day with the rising of the sun. With this time I'm gonna shine before this day is done. The best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to come. I see the road before me, filled with joy or strife. Becoming more tomorrow is how I want to live my life. A chance is dawning every day with the rising of the sun. With this time I'm gonna shine before this day is done. The best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to come. My life has been amazing. I've been blessed by every day. But I will not sit and reminisce and slowly fade away. The best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come.
Absolutely beautiful, Sandy. I can hear the conviction in that. I love it. Great song for today. So me, myself, and I. Throughout the first half of the year, we were exploring living everyday wonder through the monthly themes of the inner life, creativity, play, emotions, and the body. This month, the invitation is to dive into the spiritual practice of engaged relationships and actively revel in the wonder of how each and every single one of these relationships is actually a relationship between spirit and itself. The bottom line is that there is only God. Our relationships with ourselves, with others, with the earth, and with God are interconnected and inseparable. We cannot claim to love God while hating ourselves. We cannot declare that it is a just and equitable universe while treating other people, animals, or the earth unjustly or inequitably. Last Sunday, we completed our month on the body with a conversation about the one body. And I invited everyone to imagine that you are God, that you exist before time, before the universe, before everything. You have no body and no shape. You are pure consciousness with no form. I invited everyone to imagine that you are God, that nothing exists outside of you, that you are everything, that you are infinite. Now, this is something that's very difficult for you to comprehend, and you wish to learn about yourself, about who you are and about what you're capable of. And in order to do that, you begin to create. But because you are infinite, because you are everything, you cannot create outside of yourself. You must create within yourself. It's impossible for something to exist outside of infinity. So you begin to create dimensions like up and down, or right and left, or high and low, or cold and hot, or light and dark, and so on. You establish internal reference points which allow you to really learn about yourself. But you're not finished. So you then begin to create little entities within yourself, and you give those little entities consciousness. Now, these objects they're not outside of you, they are within you. In fact, they are you. Thus, the illusion of separation is born. Ultimately, however, there is no separation. And yet the illusion of separation at the superficial level is such a big part of our human and earthly experience. Everything in the universe appears in dualities. And so in our humanness, we see and experience duality all of the time. Up and down, hot and cold, light and dark, right and wrong, high and low, good and evil. The list goes on and on and on. Now, in a book called Sympathetic Vibrations, K.C. Cole uses the term complementary. And he says complementary ideas are opposing ideas that add up to much more than the sum of their parts. They complement each other like night and day, male and female, on one hand or on the other hand. Complements are required for a full spectrum of understanding, just as a full array of colors is required to produce pure white. They give us the contrast that we need. The bottom line is that wholeness, which is a quality of the divine, right, embraces it all in infinite inclusivity. And this becomes very important to us as we begin this month on relationships with a conversation around one of the most important relationships that we will ever have in our life, our relationship with ourselves. And so I have 3 ideas to talk about this morning about our relationship with ourselves. And the first one is the importance of really unifying the various aspects of our lives and ourselves. When we learn to look at all the layers and all of the various aspects of who we are and how we show up, then we develop a greater awareness of our lives and of life itself. The wonder of our relationships with ourselves is that they, by necessity, encompass all that we are. They can't exclude things. They encompass all that we are. Living everyday wonder means learning to care for, to nurture, and to embody our whole self. Therefore, the invitation is to harmoniously embrace who we are, letting go of what we think we should be. Harmoniously embrace the partnership between ourselves and the divine, between our masculine and our feminine sides, or between our body, our mind, and our spirit. The invitation is to find a way to harmoniously embrace our past and our future so that we can live in the now. To harmoniously embrace our oneness with everything and everyone, and to harmoniously embrace all of the parts of ourselves, including the parts that we like and the parts that we don't like so much. To harmoniously embrace all of the seemingly opposites within ourselves and the experiences of our lives, making them all welcome. Rumi has a poem called The Guest House. It reads, "This human every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of all its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whomever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond." This isn't always easy for us to do. These guest house arrivals are often described as our shadow side. And each person's shadow side is the part of them that is denied or suppressed or hidden from view. A person's shadow side is kind of a dark counterpoint, if you will, to the light and the love and the positivity that we have within us. Our shadow side holds the anger and the resentment and the pain and the trauma that we all carry with us. It's the home of our wounds, the parts of ourselves that we like and disown, the places that we don't want to see. People's shadow sides are partly unconscious and partly conscious, depending upon how much personal inner work they have done in their lives. In the physical world are spaces where the light doesn't pass through. This happens because the object that's casting the shadow blocks the incoming light. A psychological shadow is similar. Love or light is blocked by our own fear, by our own worry, by our own hesitation, by our resistance. This is done as an attempt to protect ourselves from pain. Often, however, these seemingly opposing forces or imperfections, these new guest house arrivals or our shadow sides, are exactly what we need to grow spiritually. Allowing ourselves to harmoniously embrace all of it without a resistance allows the gift to be revealed, allows the divine plan to unfold. This is a really big part of our evolution. One useful way to approach this task is to see it as one of integration. One of integration, our shadow side, our rejected traits, our wounds, or our inner dragons don't necessarily need to be removed or slayed. They just need to be into overall harmonious self-concept, integrated into that whole concept of ourselves. In other words, we need to evolve our relationship with our shadow side so that we can view it as part of this comprehensive spiritual fabric of our soul in this lifetime. It's a part of our soul, a necessary part, an important part, a significant part that is often there for our spiritual growth. As we grow physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we have the opportunity to develop the internal resources that are necessary to acknowledge rather than to avoid the more difficult aspects of our lives. One of those internal resources that we can have is self-love. Thank you, Michelle, for her beautiful meditation. Developing self-love is ultimately about choosing to accept ourselves and our life as it is, trusting that it is that way for a reason. And that reason is our spiritual growth. Now, once we learn to love ourselves, it becomes relatively easy to blend our shadow side into our lighter side. In order to harmoniously embrace our shadow side, the invitation is for each of us to choose to see the challenging aspects of our lives as the very parts that are the most capable of causing our greatest growth. And to know that as we allow this possibility to actually percolate, that we will start to think in terms of integrating our shadow into the light. That it will come out of that. The bottom line is that our shadow brings depth into our being. It holds the lessons that led us and continue to lead us into newfound strength and wisdom. Just like the phoenix rises out of the ashes, our true inner beauty often arises out of the darkest spaces within us. In choosing to see all parts of ourselves and our lives as valuable, we allow the possibility of them becoming a welcomed part of who and what we are. When we can embrace our difficult aspects and experiences, then we are offering ourselves compassion. Can you feel how that difference would be, that when we're in resistance to them or avoiding them or suppressing them, there can be no compassion? And when we give ourselves that compassion, love and acceptance come more easily. Now, accepting the shadow is not to say that we never want to grow again, or we don't want things to be different, or that we don't want to deepen in our awareness of the God within and our expression of it. It only means that we find a way for the whole of us, for the whole of our lives, for the whole of our relationships to be in harmony. There can only be peace externally when there's peace within us. There can only be harmony out here when there's harmony in here. The invitation is to choose to reach towards the highest possible potential for our soul with its unique set of circumstances, a unique set of circumstances that it just may have chosen, that it just may have signed a contract for, while simultaneously cultivating empathy for our limitation and for our blind spots. Those limitations and those blind spots aren't dead ends. They're not something that we have to go to battle with. They're simply speed bumps and detours on the journey towards the expression of our highest and best self. Speed bumps and detours that we actually need, that are actually significant to us. Remember, who we are at any given moment is exactly who we're supposed to be. In this body, with these experiences, with this shadow, and with these gifts. Sometimes our mess is our ministry. I've always loved that line. Sometimes our mess is our ministry. And there's a wonderful story that speaks to this. It's called The Cracked Pot. Not a crackpot, but a cracked pot. An elderly Chinese woman had two large pots, each hung on the ends of a pole that she carried across the back of her neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, while the other pot was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. At the end of the long walks from the stream to the house, the cracked pot arrived only half full. Of course, the perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, but the cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfections and miserable that it could only do half of what it had been made to do. After 2 years of what it perceived to be bitter failure, it spoke to the woman one day by the stream. "I am ashamed of myself because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your house." The old woman smiled. "Did you notice that there are flowers on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? That's because I've always known about your flaw. So I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back, you water them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate the table. Without you being exactly who you are, there would not be this beauty to grace this house." This acceptance process is part of our spiritual journey to becoming who we came here to be. It's part of it. If we can be brave enough to face our dark side, then we can become integrated, whole, and comfortable in our own skin. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." The second conversation that I wish to have around this idea of our relationship with ourselves is around the idea of self-care. Self-care may be defined by the term itself, taking care of oneself. It includes anything that we do to keep ourselves healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Although prioritizing self-care may sound like common sense, it's often the first thing to go when we find ourselves in challenging situations. It's often the first thing to go when we find our family and our friends and our coworkers loudly paying for our time and attention. If it was something that we thought about all the time, we wouldn't have to be reminded every time we get on a plane to take the oxygen for yourself first, and then to share it with others. Self-care as a deep and abiding spiritual practice demonstrates to ourselves and to others that we understand and we recognize our value and our worth. Last month, I spoke about the body as a temple of God. Spirit is not just within us, the body itself is spirit. Our caring for our bodies demonstrates our appreciation of that underlying truth. Self-care is not just for our physical sides. However, our mental, emotional, and spiritual sides benefit from all of the ways in which we nourish our bodies, our minds, and our hearts with love, empathy, and compassion. Perhaps the single most common reason for people not participating in self-care is due to a lack of time. While many of us have a lot going on, it is imperative that we still take the time out every day for ourselves. Even 5-minute increments spread throughout the day is certainly better than doing nothing. 5-minute increments. Even how busy we are, don't you think that we could find that for ourselves? Self-care assists us to perform at our best, supports our overall well-being, and allows us to be more resilient. It assists us to maintain our self-confidence and self-esteem and makes us more aware of our own personal needs. It can assist us to feel well-rested and energetic and to be more connected to our spiritual center. The really great thing about self-care is that it doesn't have to take a ton of time, nor does it have to take a lot of money. In fact, a lot of what we do for our self-care doesn't cost anything at all. It just simply means that we're doing things that we enjoy, and a lot of the things that we enjoy cost nothing. Stepping outside and taking a deep breath, for example, might be one of the greatest acts of self-care that we could ever do for ourselves. Remember that self-care is all about the individual. What works for one person may not work for another. We're encouraged to continue to keep searching for what is the best fit for for each of us individually. The catch, however, is that it must be done both intentionally and consistently to have a maximum impact. I'll tell you that one of my greatest self-care moments I do every single day without fail, consistently and consciously. I'm doing that, and that is to make my bed. It's the way that I start the day. It lets me know that my day has started and that it's begun, and I can say while I'm doing it, it's going to be a great day. As I look at that bed and admire the bedclothes and the pillows and the way that it looks. It might not be the same for anybody else on the planet, but it is a moment of self-care for me. And for the few times in the last, however many years, that I haven't done it, I feel that during the day that I haven't done that. And so, find your own ways of doing that. And they don't have to cost anything. The third conversation is about our self-talk. Some of you may want to listen up a little bit here. The important thing to know about our self-talk is that it's a great indicator of what we think and feel about ourselves. Oh, God, I'm so clumsy. I feel like such a fool. When will I ever learn? You have no business eating that piece of cake. You already weigh too much. Now, each of these inner dialogues indicates some level of blame, shame, or self-incrimination that we have within us about ourselves. This is a great opportunity to first recognize the tendency that we have to engage in that kind of self-talk. And I know that each and every single one of us has that tendency, at least some to some degree or another. Might be on a big spectrum with a whole lot to a whole little, but we all do that at some point in time, perhaps in every single day. And the second great opportunity is that without adding to it, to find some nurturing and compassionate statement that we can use when we notice that we're doing that negative self-talk, to reframe the situation and to lay a new foundation. So, God, I'm so clumsy can become, stop right there. I'm not clumsy. Or some people just go cancel, 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 right? Just because I've tripped and knocked over a glass does not give me the right to judge or label myself as if this is who and what I am. I am a divine emanation of the divine. Thank you. And because of that, I am an expression of its gracefulness. Our self-talk and how we treat ourselves offers us a great insight into how we treat others and how we want them to treat us. The invitation today is to harmoniously embrace all aspects of ourselves, to practice radical self-care, and to honor who we are at our very core by being conscious and intentional with our inner self-talk. I leave you with the words of the great poet Hafiz, who says, "The place you are right now, God circled on a map for you. Wherever your eyes and arms and heart can move against the earth and sky, the beloved has bowed there. Our beloved has bowed there, knowing you were coming." Who we are is a unique and divine emanation of the divine. Me, myself, and I, the very essence of God itself. The invitation today is to allow our relationship with ourselves to reflect that deep and abiding truth, and then to watch as that completely transforms our entire life. And so it is. And so it is. So I invite everyone to turn within, to allow ourselves to turn away from the world of form and to turn our attention inward to the center of our being, that center that is a spark of the divine, the center that is that infinite inclusivity, that wholeness that is the truth of who we are. To know that we are one with it, created by it, out of itself, in a moment of unconditional love, right where we are, God is in its fullness and in its wholeness. There is no spot where God is not. And it's from that place of unity that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that we can create a relationship with ourselves that is filled with self-love. That we can welcome in all aspects of ourselves, to integrate them with each other, knowing that truly they are here for our highest and best good, that they are here for some lesson that we are to learn on our spiritual journey, that they are here for our growth and our evolution, which is why we are all here. And so I claim ease and grace for us around creating that relationship, around doing the necessary self-care and becoming more aware of our internal self-care or self-talk, letting loose anything that is negative, letting loose anything that is not the truth of who we are. Not claiming it as the be all and end all as our existence, but perhaps just a momentary expression of it as we allow it to have its way with us and to integrate it into the fullest expression of ourself that we possibly can. We came here to be who we were created to be, and in doing so, honor all of who we are. All of who we are. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and I release them with love and gratitude and full expectation of their manifestation. And I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the entire planet, simply by saying, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for the world. Together we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or mail your gift to our P.O. Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or an intention, and let's say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. So it is. So as everyone is doing that, let's please welcome the awesome, the spectacular Sandy Hemingway.
So in addition to the talk topic, this is obviously Independence Day weekend. And about a decade ago, I decided I was going to try to write a song for Independence Day. And when I did, I was having a lot of trouble with it because I ran into this problem that nationalism is sort of by its very nature cuts us off from other cultures and nations, and I didn't want to write that message. And so my attempt to write a patriotic song turned out very different. But this song came out, and it's called Citizens of the Earth. A child is born today that soon will learn to cry. Above this fresh air, country's flag will fly. Nations are poised for war, more cities will be burned. A child will die today because we have not learned. We all lost of the earth. We all are citizens of the earth. The air we breathe today tomorrow kills our youth. How long can we deny this inconvenient truth? Can we afford to shirk responsibility? How many more must die before we start to see? We all are citizens of the earth. We all are citizens of the earth. Can we stop it? Can we stop it? Can we stop the hate? Can we change it? Can we change it before it is too late? Will our children, will our children, will our children cry? Unless we redirect our path, our land shall die. We all are flesh and bone. When injured, we will bleed. Are we the victims of our selfishness and greed? Mankind has come too far to throw it all away. We will reap what we have sown, a lesson for today. We all are citizens of the earth. We all are citizens of the earth. We all are citizens. We all are citizens. We all are citizens of the earth.
I would call that a proclamation. Thank you, Sandy. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the homepage, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the requested form. We will get that prayer and send it out to all of the ministers and practitioners. If you would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone or anything, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. We would love for you to join us at our next community picnic. That will be Saturday, July 16th. It will be held at the Lake Wheeler Park, the Holly Shelter, which is number 5, right next to the water. Please bring what you would like to eat and drink and any yard games you'd like to play. We'll have cornhole and board games to play. There's a concession stand nearby as well. The time is from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and the address is 6404 Lake Wheeler Road in Raleigh. Please send us an RSVP to info@trianglecsl.org and let us know how many people are attending. That will help us to plan. Thank you. This is the first save the date announcement for our August get-together. August 12th, we will be cheering on the Durham Bulls and the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. The first 25 to register will have a ticket along the first baseline of the stadium, which is an awesome place to be in the stadium. A love donation is greatly appreciated. There will be amazing fireworks after the game. It is always a wonderful, fun evening. We hope you can join us. Please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org with the info@trianglecsl.org, that's true, with the number of tickets you would like. Now, in the comfort of your own home, in your own homes or wherever you may be, please stand for our July affirmation. This is a call and response, so I invite you to please say it with meaning and repeat after me. I understand that the way we relate to ourselves, one another, the world, and the divine are all interconnected. Because of that, I cannot claim to love anything or anyone while holding anything or anyone outside of my heart, including myself.
Because of that, I cannot claim to love anything or anyone while holding anything or anyone outside of my heart, including myself.
Therefore, I vow to become my own best friend.
Therefore, I vow to become my own best friend.
Beyond loving myself, I proclaim that a plethora of people are drawn to me by the ever active law of attraction.
Beyond loving myself, I proclaim that a plethora of people are drawn to me by the ever-active law of attraction.
With that in mind, I am called to communicate, collaborate, and cooperate with all of them in meaningful ways.
With that in mind, I am called to communicate, collaborate, and cooperate with all of them in meaningful ways.
I am a catalyst here to nurture, empower, and engage with everyone through the power of unconditional love.
I am a catalyst here to nurture, empower, and engage with everyone through the power of unconditional love.
Beyond that, I recognize the divinity within everything, and I consciously choose to nurture a loving relationship with all of it.
Beyond that, I recognize the divinity within everything and consciously choose to nurture a loving relationship with all of it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Shall we do that again? No, I'm kidding. Please be seated. I invite you to please turn within once again. I speak a word of gratitude for this wonderful moment that we've had to be together today, to recognize that one spirit that is everywhere all of the time, that is within each of us always. I'm so grateful to recognize that is the truth of me, and I know that is the truth of each of us, that we are all that beautiful spark of love. And from that place of unity, I am so grateful for this moment to gather in person or online, or to watch this as a future date and time, to have this chance to, with open heart and open mind, listen to the message that Reverend Dusty brought us today. So very important to become friends with ourselves, to allow those shadows to be seen in our lives, and just to give them all a big hug, allowing that light to dissipate any darkness that shows up, embracing the duality and understanding that it is all in divine right action, divine right timing, and that it is only our relationship with ourselves that is our work, is our growth. I'm so grateful to have this time to allow these words, this message, to seep in a little more, and to hang on as we go about the next week, recognizing these truths about ourselves and allowing that growth to come forth. I'm grateful for each of you in our community, each of these beautiful souls that come together under this umbrella of the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living to walk this paths with one another, to gather on Sundays and to gather in person to have fun and fellowship, to gather on Wednesdays to dive a little deeper into the message of the week. This is such a blessing in our lives, and for that I am so grateful. And so it is.
Thank you all so very much for being here today, or for inviting us into your homes. As we leave and throughout this week, knowing that awareness is so important, I leave you with this question. If I were to ask you to make a list of all of the people and the things that you love, how long would it take before you put your name on the list? I love you all. Have a wonderful week.